Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amaomi, aka Petite Diva, and this video is all about Harrison Butker. Now, Harrison Butker is an athlete with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a American football club, and he made a speech at a graduation ceremony of a college. He said some things that got a lot of people triggered. Now, I've not watched the full speech, so I want us to check it out together, and then I will share my thoughts on his speech. So let's check it out together.
I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. By making it to this moment through all the adversity thrown your way from COVID, I hope you learned the important lessons that suffering in this life is only temporary. As a group, you witnessed firsthand how bad leaders who don't stay in their lane can have a negative impact on society. While COVID might have played a large role throughout your formative years, it is not unique. Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media, all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder. Our own nation is led by a man who publicly and proudly proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally. He has been so vocal in his support for the murder of innocent babies that I'm sure to many people, it appears that you can be both Catholic and pro-choice. The world around us says that we should keep our beliefs to ourselves whenever they go against the tyranny of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We fear speaking truth because now, unfortunately, truth is in the minority. Congress just passed a bill where stating something as basic as the biblical teaching of who killed Jesus could land you in jail. I am certain the reporters at the AP could not have imagined that their attempt to rebuke and embarrass places and people like those here at Benedictine wouldn't be met with anger, but instead met with excitement and pride. Not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it, but the true God-centered pride that is cooperating with the Holy Ghost to glorify Him.
Okay, now I've rewatched that, and I have things to say that a lot of people that I saw stitching this video did not see. A lot of people were just focused on the fact that he was talking about women being mothers. His wife's true purpose started when she became a wife and a mother, and that the ladies that are graduating are not really going to be focused on being successful in their career, but they are going to be more proud of being mothers and wives. That was what a lot of people were angry and focused about. I did not realize that there were a lot of things that he said that I'm not going to be angry about. Honestly, I was so triggered from the first clips that I saw, but I need to find the full video because this I got from change.org, who are the ones that are spearheading a campaign to get him kicked out of his club. But what I'm seeing is that he actually said some things that I agree with. I'm going to be honest, but let's check out what other people have to say, especially someone that was there when he made the speech.
Good morning. I am Crystal. I'm a licensed therapist, and I am trying to figure out what it is about this Harrison Butker speech that has made my blood boil over. I am a Chiefs fan. I'm a Chiefs season ticket holder. I have an Arrowhead logo on my arm, tattooed on my arm, with our Super Bowl wins. I'm a fan, okay? Also a Swiftie, right? Like, there she is, back there, the Eras Tour. I'm also a therapist. I am just trying to figure out what it was about this speech that's got me rattled, and I figured it out this morning. I am really sick of men in pulpits telling me what I should want. Okay? I have, until I left religion a few years ago, I had, and since 7 years old, sat in rooms and listened to men in pulpits tell me what I, as a woman, should want. What should fulfill me. What should make me happy. What I should strive to be. And I'm over that. I'm done with that. There is not another person in this world who gets to tell me what I should want. Okay? That's one of my fundamental beefs with organized religion as a whole, especially conservative fundamentalist groups, is that they take your opinion, they take your perspective, they take your hopes and dreams, and they say, but that's not what you should want. That's not who you should love. That's not the life that you should strive for. And I think it's bullshit. I think you know, as a woman, what's going to make you happy. I think you as a woman know what's going to help you be fulfilled. I don't think a man in a pulpit needs to tell you that. I also will say, if you are a woman or a man who graduated from Benedictine College and you are still in Kansas, I am licensed in Kansas and I specialize in religious trauma. And if you have some real feelings about what happened to you at your graduation, reach out to me. I would love to talk to you. I would love to help you navigate those confusing feelings about what maybe you want and you were told you should want, right? mendedcasey.com. That's my practice. If that video triggered you the way it triggered me, I want to hear about it. Tell me below. That's today's Mended Minute.
If you were lucky enough to not see the Chiefs kicker go on a rant at a commencement speech today, I envy you. Our woman hater of the day is Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker, 3-time Super Bowl champion, and probably last time speaking at a commencement speech speaker, went on stage and basically went on a tangent talking about how for women, this might be a really good day for you, but nothing beats it like having children and getting married, you know, because that's what we're supposed to do, have children, get married. Then proceeds to talk about toxic masculinity and how toxic masculinity is actually a good thing because we need macho men in this world, which I find hilarious considering he is a kicker, which is the least masculine positions on a football field. But you go off, King. When are men going to realize that we're multifaceted? Like, women have many interests, not just, you know, getting pregnant and getting married, which might come to a shocker to most men, which is why I went to college to study multimedia journalism to become a sports broadcaster, to shine light on douchebags like this. But you know, what do I know? I was just born to have children.
Another interesting thing about this Yobo's commencement speech is how he doesn't even say Taylor Swift's name. Like, he won't even attribute the quote to Taylor Swift, which is either because he's so deeply patriarchal and misogynistic that he can only conceptualize her in terms of proximity to himself and another man, or maybe it's because she is so very successful in a career of her own and not in her vocation as a wife and a homemaker. So he's like throwing shade, poking a little fun at her, or maybe it's because she's so supportive of the LGBTQ plus community and has obviously very different beliefs than he does that he just can't bear to say her name. But I just thought that was such a interesting touch, an interesting piece of this whole shit show of a commencement speech that just said so much.
Told to you.
Disgusting, despicable, horrible, all of the obvious feminist things. But I want to talk about something else because I've seen a lot of people comment on this, specifically saying like, oh, I can't believe this was approved, like surely somebody had to vet this speech. But I don't think a lot of you are realizing this is a Catholic college. This was not only definitely approved and vetted, but I'm sure specific things in it were asked for him to say. What's important to note is that this was at a Catholic college, okay? And I know a lot of colleges run under the guise of a religion and then they're not really operating under that religion. This one is, okay? And when you are that embedded in a religion, for those of you who maybe didn't grow up religious, didn't go to this kind of college, that's a privilege, congratulations. But that is how a lot of these people probably feel. There was genuine applause happening during this speech. My parents grew up in a cult, not the Catholic Church, something different. They went to a college that only people in that church attended. It was gatekept. Only that religion goes to that college. And also you're only allowed to date within that religion and that college, only allowed to marry within that religion and that college. That's where my parents met. They didn't have many options. But they went to the same college where my dad essentially was only given the option to study theology. That's where the men's focus was. My mom took some general studies, some general education studies that you take at a community college. But really the focus for the women at this college was to find their husband, was to plan the kind of homemaker they wanted to become. This is how a lot of colleges still operate. And I know that that's crazy, crazy town, but it's true. And yes, this speech was probably very well received beforehand. Did everyone sitting there graduating agree with it? No. Were there women upset in that audience? Absolutely. But I think the fact that it was recorded and released to the public, it's receiving way more backlash than if it was just kept within that college. This is the kind of thing they want to make sure their students know going out into the world. Remember, your goal is to just be a wife. Remember, we let you go to school and we let you vote, but your goal is just to be a mother. Don't forget it. That's what they wanted spoken. They're not going to call for him to be removed from the Chiefs. He did what they asked him to do, 100%.
It's the way that I know Harrison Butker wrote that speech. He read it back to himself. All real life Handmaid's Tale of it all. And he sat there and he nodded to himself and he went, yeah, this shit's real good. What the fuck? On what planet? On what planet did you think that women wanted to hear that? Not on any day do women want to hear that. But especially not on the day when they are achieving their educational dreams. You asshole. I learned a crucial detail today that really drove it home for me, and I have to share it with you if you haven't seen it yet. His mother, that man's mother, she's a fucking physicist. She's an actual girl boss who had a family and a successful badass career, proving that women can do it all. And I'm pretty sure Harrison's just jealous because he kicks the ball around. No offense. I love the guys that kick balls around. I love it. But if they're going to be dicks who kick balls around, then like, they can shove it where the sun don't shine, in my opinion. Benedictine College should take it back and they should make a statement and revoke everything he said. I also think that they should get a virtual speaker and do a redo for everybody involved. That's just my own opinion. Love you, bye.
That her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a...
The craziest part is not that he said this in front of thousands of women at a college graduation, but that his own mother has a master's in physics and works in radiation oncology at Emory. What does your mom think about your little speech, Harrison?
Talking about Harrison Butker at work today, and I don't remember who my commencement speaker was. Somebody was like, Naya, who was yours? I literally couldn't tell you. But I do remember, because I graduated May 2020. It was a tough time to be a graduate. There was, like a global pandemic going on. It was a whole situation. I watched my graduation from my backyard. The rest of my family spaced out apart. But I do remember from my graduation party that my grandma just casually knew Will Ferrell's dad. And somehow she reached out and got Will Ferrell himself to send me a personalized graduation video. And Will Ferrell, I'm going to show it to you. It's my favorite thing. It's like my most prized possession.
Hey, Naya. I hope that's how you say your name. Naya. It's Will Ferrell. I just want to say congratulations. You did it. Congrats on graduating. Everyone's very proud of you. And no one's more proud of you than I am. Because, to be quite honest, I didn't think you were going to graduate. But you did, so that's the good news. So, congratulations. Have a great summer. Bye-bye.
I think that we should give Travis Kelce's kicker the Simone Biles husband treatment. And you know what's cool is that we actually can give him multiple names. Travis Kelce's kicker, Patrick Mahomes' kicker, Isabel Butker's husband. Like, that man is on a team of stars, and it must kill him how little press he gets during the season. And look, I understand football. I understand that this man is a good kicker. And kickers are an important part of a football team, obviously. But this graduation speech behavior reeks of needing attention. It reeks of insecurity. And I don't know him, so I don't know if he's insecure about his positioning on his team, or in his role as a husband, or in his role as a father, or in his perceived version of what masculinity is. To use an opportunity where you have been invited to give a graduation speech at a college that has both men and women, to spew the kind of nonsense that this man did, that is not a secure man. But I will say that this is more press than this man has ever gotten in his job as a professional football player. And so I think he has earned the Simone Biles husband treatment. And I think we should just stop using his name and giving him any attention at all.
Every day I wake up, I say, the Liberal Party has reached peak stupidity. They can't top it. But sure enough, they somehow always do. Public enemy number one, according to the Liberal Party, is none other than Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker. What crime did he commit? What outrageously offensive thing did he do? He gave a commencement speech at a college preaching traditional values, Catholicism, as well as promoting masculinity. And all these media sources are losing their minds. A few disclaimers. I am not Catholic. I do not agree with what Harrison Butker said. And I have a lot of left-leaning views. With that being said, we are allowed to speak our own minds and have our own opinions. Although we're supposedly a democracy, the party of inclusion and acceptance seems to label people that disagree with them as terrible people. Well, that's not very open-minded.
No, but imagine being an accomplished physicist and your son gets on a microphone and says to a group of women that essentially your life isn't going to begin until you become a wife and a mother, and basically that's going to be your biggest accomplishment. Are you projecting, mate? Because you know that you weren't her biggest accomplishment. Awkward.
How bad leaders who don't stay in their lane can have a negative impact on society.
Really, kicker? You have the audacity to stand on that stage in a position of leadership at that graduation, criticizing leaders who don't know how to stay in their lanes? Let's be clear about what your lane is. Your lane is being on a football field, watching a guy's butt until he hikes the ball so you can kick it. That's the only thing you're qualified to do. Your lane is not giving career advice or career shaming women who want to have careers or giving marriage advice. Your lane is if any of these women someday want to know how to kick a ball through two poles, that's for you. That's your lane.
I was really pissed off about the Harrison Butker commencement speech video until I imagined the scenario of him putting together the speech, and then he's like, okay, I need a Taylor Swift lyric. So he's Googling Taylor Swift lyrics that align with whatever the hell he was saying. And then since Taylor Swift doesn't actually have any songs that quite align with that message, it actually gave him the opposite result in his Google search results. So then he's sifting through all of them. He sees fuck the patriarchy. He's like, no. Then he finally finds familiarity breeds contempt. And he's like, okay, that kind of fits. And so he takes that, puts that in the speech. And then he failed to look at the rest of the song and maybe understand what she was talking about in the song. And then in that realization, I understood. You know, I'm glad that my life didn't start because I'm not married and I don't have kids. But I did go to a 4-year university. And I understand how to comprehend things. I can read a song lyric and understand, hey, maybe this is contextual. Maybe there's a little bit more information here. And maybe I'm misinterpreting that. So thank you.
Petition calling for the Chiefs to release Harrison Butker has amassed nearly 30,000 signatures. This is in response to a speech that he gave a couple days ago. So here we have on change.org, demand the Kansas City Chiefs to dismiss Harrison Butker for discriminatory remarks. It looks like within the last 10 minutes, it's added another 10,000 signatures. But even Bussin' with the Boys caught some flack because they tweeted Harrison Butker just gave one hell of a speech. And later, Taylor Lewan retracts it, saying, had to Google Harrison Butker, hell of a football player. But after reading the comments and getting some context, we are in a bit of a deal right now. Then Will Compton tweets the same thing, saying, "We've gotten into a little pickle with this tweet." He also posted a 3-minute video apologizing, saying he agreed with parts of Butker's speech but disagreed with some others. This just causes a huge distraction for the Chiefs. Like, this is not a distraction that you need coming from your kicker. Although I like the confidence that you were able to go up there and give this controversial speech. If that's not going to faze you, then a big kick, calling a timeout, trying to ice Harrison Butker, that's not going to work. Obviously, he said some controversial things, but I just want to know what it's going to be like when he misses a field goal. But as soon as he misses, I know the memes are going to be flying in.
Well, if that makes me a villain, then so fucking be it.
Become my wife and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
In case you were wondering how the crowd reacted to that statement. Then he goes on to say that Isabel, his wife, has no regrets about giving up her dream of having a career.
Isabel's dream of having a career might not have come true, but if you asked her today if she has any regrets on her decision, she would laugh out loud.
Now, if his wife is truly happy with that decision, I absolutely support her. I think being a wife and mother are beautiful things. I think addressing women specifically and saying this is your purpose is really unfortunate, to put it mildly. If she is happy and healthy, they have a great marriage, great family, then I'm all for it for them. I fear that may not be the case, but I pray that I'm wrong. Also, by the way, this is his company, MD Keller, for which he is a co-founder. And the college where he gave this commencement speech, it is listed as an organization that his company fully endorses. Now, there is something he said that I actually agree with. It has to do with men being absent from their homes, although I'm sure we have different thoughts on why that is. Here's that clip.
Absence of men in the home is what plays a large role in the violence we see all around the nation. Other countries do not have nearly the same absentee father rates as we find here in the U.S.
He also spends quite a bit of time arguing for traditional Latin masses. And I understand he's talking at a Catholic church, but it seems a little odd to me. Why is he arguing so hard for this, like at a college graduation? It just seems kind of out of place. I don't know, just like a little odd. Last clip about cost of living.
It is extremely important that you actually think about the places you are moving to. Who is the bishop? What kind of parishes are there? Do they offer the TLM and have priests who embrace their priestly vocation? Cost of living must not be the only arbiter of your choice.
That's pretty rich coming from a multimillionaire who doesn't have to worry about the cost of living all that much. Anyways, I just want to share some clips with y'all.
Just one more question for Harrison Butker. You could have mentioned a ton of people, but in a speech where you mentioned women being homemakers, why did you mention Taylor Swift? And specifically, not even by name. Listen, we have had a good thing going on here with the Swifties for like the last year or so. It's been a sort of symbiotic relationship, if you will, between the Swifties and Chiefs Kingdom. Many of them learned about football for the first time. And as for us, we probably benefited from a ton of calls because of the fact that she was on the broadcast. But then you go and say something that might potentially screw up that relationship that we have with them. Like, do you know what those women are capable of? They will do anything to protect Taylor. And I mean literally anything. Like, has this dude not seen women have the power to bewitch men on a regular basis? Women have literally been getting men to go at each other physically for centuries. And you, who plays a physical sport in a mostly non-physical manner, decides it's a bright idea to go set off like the biggest fandom of women currently in like the world. Wow. Godspeed, Harrison.
I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you.
Imagine being a professional football kicker whose job is to play less than 20 seconds per football game, which comes out to less than 6 minutes per season, which over a 10-year career is less than 1 hour of actually doing your job. And thinking to yourself, I'm an important person who does an important thing. So important, in fact, I need to tell a room full of women about to enter the workforce that their job is to have babies, and they're the one who have had the diabolical lies told to them?
You know what? I think Harrison's wife, Isabel, is actually probably very happy. I'm sure she is fulfilled, and I think she's fulfilled because Harrison forgot to mention a fun little fact in his speech, is that he's wealthy. He is privileged. He has power. And when you have those things, your life looks vastly different than the lives of the average people in our country. Isabel is wealthy. She is a person who is a homemaker and a stay-at-home mom who likely has a lot of support, not just financial support, but physical support. She probably has a nanny. She probably has food delivered to her house or even cooked for her. She probably has all of the help and support that she needs to run her home. Therefore, she probably does enjoy it. She probably is fulfilled because she's rich. And when you are rich, being a homemaker and a housewife looks vastly different than the housewives of the average American family who are struggling to make ends meet, who have to do the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the caretaking, all of those things. It is incredibly stressful and it is a lot of work to be a stay-at-home wife and a homemaker in an average family where most families in our country that are dual income cannot make ends meet. They can't make ends meet. And you expect a single income home to be thriving, and you expect that wife to be fulfilled and that man to be fulfilled? This just is not the reality of the average family in America. So yes, I'm sure Isabel is incredibly happy and fulfilled in her life. I am sure she is, as are most very wealthy, privileged people. The Nara Smiths, the Ballerina Farms, they're all rich. It is important to say this out loud. They are happy. They are fulfilled. They have money, which makes their reality very different than the reality of everybody else who are living paycheck to paycheck and doing everything on their own with no sort of help. So yes, I'm sure Isabel or whoever she is incredibly happy. I'm not negating the fact she probably does enjoy it, but I would enjoy it too if I had millions of dollars and a suite of team members to help me run my home.
Here are 3 reasons why Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker will not be canceled for the remarks he gave during a May 11th commencement speech. As a crisis communication strategist, I help my clients work their way through a crisis. I've figured out how to spot a crisis on the horizon, and here are the reasons why I don't think that Butker is going to spiral out in a PR crisis. The Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to stand by their guy. Now, disclaimer. Like Butker, grew up Catholic. Butker, he, fell out of the faith, but then rediscovered it in his later years. And he rediscovered a different type of Catholic church, not the kind that I'm in. Things that he said in this speech to the college class of 2022 at Benedictine College. This was in Kansas. So some of the things. He denounced abortion and President Joe Biden's handling of the pandemic. He said that women are told diabolical lies about career ambition when one of the most important titles of all is that of homemaker. He said that this is not time for the Church of Nice. See, I like the Church of Nice. And in particular, blasted Catholics who support abortion rights and dangerous gender ideologies. Okay, so now you get an idea of what this speech was like. This guy ain't going anywhere. Number 1, the NFL did comment on his remarks. However, the Chiefs did not. Now, the NFL, they had their senior vice president and chief diversity and inclusion officer. Not Roger Goodell, not the commissioner, not the top guy, the chief diversity and inclusion officer. A very particular guy. That was Jonathan Bean. The quote was, his views are not those of the NFL as an organization. The NFL is steadfast in our commitment to inclusion, which only makes our league stronger. However, the Kansas City Chiefs, they were steadfast in their support of Butker by not saying anything at all. Unless I missed it. I looked, I went to the Goog, and I didn't see it. Second, now, when this story went viral, I think what got buried in the lead was the fact that he was speaking at a Catholic college. And not just any Catholic college. Benedictine College is a part of a growing group of conservative Catholic colleges that lean heavily into this type of thinking. They're more traditionalist. So in my TikTok live tonight, a lot of questions. Was it approved ahead of time? Oh my gosh, did the college put out a statement? Did people walk out? Oh no, this was likely approved, sealed, stamped, and delivered. He knew the assignment. and he showed up for it. Finally, here's the reason. This is the real reason why nothing's going to happen to this guy. Now, Outsports said one of the worst parts of this NFL player's awful speech is that he quoted a Taylor Swift song before telling women they should be homemakers and serve their man's career. Ugh. The fact that he had to bring up his teammate's girlfriend in his speech. Leveraging Travis like that. However, that's not the reason. The people, the crowds, they gave him a standing ovation. They loved him. And that's the reason why. He's not going to get canceled or suffer any extreme backlash. He's getting a lot of publicity, definitely. But he is giving this speech at a time when Biden, Trump in the polls, 50-50. You can't cancel someone or get rid of someone with less than 50%, right? I mean, he was there for a reason. And my goodness, on my lives tonight, everybody was up in arms on it. They couldn't believe it. They could not believe. They're saying, are you saying this guy's not going to go through a PR crisis? Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to say. He got a lot of publicity. A lot of people had no idea who this guy was. Now he's getting as more press than Travis is, his teammate Travis. But no, this is not going to be a cancelable offense because he's a conservative Catholic. He's speaking his faith. He's speaking his values. And a lot of people, agree with everything that he said.
I wish I could be like the rest of the world and say I cannot comprehend or understand Harrison Butker's commencement speech, but I do understand it, and I got a very similar one to my own commencement speech. What people don't realize, and a huge reason of why I started my channel in the first place, is because I grew up in Christian fundamentalism, and I see it creeping into the regular evangelical Christian church with Trump, with politics, with policies. And so I know people are not hiding anymore their beliefs, they're saying the quiet part out loud. And so people who have not known that they've been working on this for years and years and years are surprised. I am not surprised in the slightest. Most churches that you go to, if they are non-denominational, if they say Baptist, if they are Presbyterian, for certain ones like OPC, some Presbyterians are more liberal. But if they're any of those basic generic denominations, they believe in complementarianism. And that means that they believe that women are to submit to men and that the woman's to be keepers at home and that their main job is to make sure that the home is set and that they are helping and being helpmeets to their husbands. It is not surprising at all. I am a little shocked that he talked about it so openly since he's like on the Chiefs and famous, but then I'm not shocked at all because Christian nationalists have been gaining ground and they have already said what they think and they are no longer trying to hide it, which is terrifying. And there has been no backlash on him as far as I've seen very much yet. And so he's going to get away with it because this is what they think and it is not surprising. And everyone needs to start voting and uprising and speaking out, especially if you have lived fundamentalism and you have gotten away. Use your voice because this is what they want for America, and this is what they are getting to with the Supreme Court and with Trump, and this is what the future of America will be. Women will be keepers at home and helpmates to their husbands.
This is Harrison Butker's mom, Elizabeth Butker, and I want you to just look at her credentials. She is a medical physicist on staff at Emory University. If you don't know who Harrison Butker is, consider yourself lucky, but he is the kicker for the Chiefs, and he gave a horrific graduation speech yesterday at Benedictine College. In it, he talks about how a woman's true vocation is domestic work. And I just wonder if his mom agrees. She has a bachelor's from Smith College, a master's in medical physics at the Georgia Institute of Technology, and she's been in the Department of Radiation Oncology at Emory University for 36 years. And it makes me wonder if he realized what a direct insult that was to his own parent. And it is evident that he has no respect for the work that she did and continues to do. And I am not here saying that domestic work is not work. I truly believe that it is a ton of work and it is unpaid work. And it also doesn't matter that that would be the partnership that he would choose, even though his mom worked outside of the home. But to have a mother that is as accomplished as she is, and then to stand up in front of a graduating class, of which she was one of those people in her time, and say that women have been deviously misled into believing that having a career or getting promoted at work is more important than your true vocation of being in the home. This is wild to me.
You know, the thing I find very interesting about this Harrison Butker thing and that no one's talking about is, like, not only did he make this speech, but he made this speech after Patrick Mahomes recently did a speech at this, forgot the celebration. It was some type of gala celebration, but his speech that he made was celebrating women and celebrating women's sports and how far the sports are coming and where it's going and the future of women's sports. And you also know this man and his wife started a women's pro soccer team. So you have your quarterback over here celebrating women in the women's sports while the kicker is over here making speeches basically saying that women, like, we should just be in the kitchen, taking care of kids, taking care of our men. And it's like, dude, read the room. Like, read the room. And not to mention, his speech was so inappropriate as well, just because it's like, you thought this was a speech that was going to motivate these young adults getting ready to go off into the real world and start their lives. Another reason his timing is way off with this speech is because we think about all the talk that was surrounded around the NFL and young girls watching games this past season with their dads because they were huge Swiftie fans, and you still thought this was a great idea to do this speech? I'm sorry, are people not, when it comes to these graduation speeches, are they not like, is there not approval? Is there not a board or somebody? They tell them what the topic is or even do the speech like a rehearsal? I don't know, man, but I know that first time all of them are in the locker room or like on the field, it's going to be real awkward.
All right, well, since I have about 200 of y'all congratulating me and asking me what the fuck I was thinking during this speech, I thought I'd respond. Yeah, it was fucking horrible. Some of us did boo. Me and my roommate definitely did. There was a standing ovation from everyone in the room, except from me, my roommate, and about 10 to 15 other women. You also have to keep in mind this was at a Catholic and conservative college. So a lot of the men were like, fuck yeah. They were excited. But it was horrible. Most of the women were looking back and forth at each other like, what the fuck is going on? Like, did he just come here to speak about politics and his views on women? That's all you got for a graduation commencement speech? Are you kidding? But yeah, it was horrible. And a lot of y'all are also asking where I will be going after college. I graduated with a bachelor's in graphic design, and I will be working for a nationwide magazine company, doing layout and photography. So yeah, I'm excited for what my career brings me, and no, I'm not a homemaker. Also, I'm 21, question mark. Getting married and having kids is not my ideal situation right now. So, yeah, it was definitely horrible. And it definitely made graduation feel a little less special, knowing I had to sit through that and get told I'm nothing but a homemaker.
Now, a lot of people were triggered by the fact that he insinuated that if a woman is not a mother or a wife, that life will not be fulfilling. Now, I get why people are triggered. I don't think that's a good thing to say about all women, but I know that some women think like that. And now you heard from one of the graduates that his speech actually got a standing ovation. And people actually clapped when he said that thing. So it's not something that you will say is out of place for some certain people. Now, I found out that the school is a Catholic school, is conservative, and he himself is a Catholic, is staunch, is an outspoken Catholic and conservative, and he doesn't like Joe Biden and some of the things that he's doing. So I feel like the speech was appropriate for the environment because they all think the same way. Now, in wider audience, is not really appropriate and it's not what a lot of people are going to like. But in that scenario, in that setting, it was appropriate. A lot of Catholics think the same way that he thinks. They think the same thing about termination of pregnancy. They think the same thing about every other thing that he said. So it's not out of place. Now, he also lambasted Joe Biden for being a Catholic and then supporting pro termination of pregnancies and even doing the sign of a cross at a pro-abortion rally, which I personally feel is contradictory. But then again, Joe Biden is the president, and he's not supposed to be focused on, he's not supposed to be partial, he's supposed to hear everybody out. But if you are a Catholic and you know that Catholics are against termination of pregnancy, doing the sign of the cross at that place was somehow like as if you are pissing on the Catholics. I don't know. I personally feel that is bad taste. Now, as the president, I know that he's supposed to be fair to everybody. Now, there are things he talked about. He was talking about the fact that nowadays saying things that people don't agree with can put you into trouble. And I agree with what he said. I find this cancel culture and the nonsense that goes on very, very irritating. Now, because of this speech, a lot of people have signed a petition to get him kicked out of his club. At last time I checked, I think over 100,000 people have signed. And I'm like, why are you people like this? He made a speech based on his belief and made it to an appropriate audience. Everybody cannot think like you, for goodness sake. When people do all this cancelling, doxing for someone who did not do any criminal act, it just gives me this oppressive bullying behavior, because I don't have to agree with you. Now, what I'm saying in this video, I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me, but it is my opinion and it's based on a lot of things. Now, you are having a problem with him saying that the women who are graduating are more excited to be mothers and wives, and him talking about the fact that his wife felt fulfilled when she became a wife and a mother, and that's why you want to get him kicked out. Now, he is calling out Joe Biden and some of the things that he has done, and people are having a problem with it, despite the fact that they call out and abuse Trump almost every day. You can have different political choices, different political opinions. It does not mean that you should not start calling for each other to lose their job because of different political opinions. Now, he said something that I'm not too sure, but I'm going to go and check it out, where he's talking about the fact that the people that crucified Jesus, that if you talk about it, you might be put into jail. And I'm like, excuse me, are you practically saying that they should erase that part from the Bible or what? Now, that part, me and them go fight. Me and anybody, I will fight that one. And I will stand on it. On that one, I am going to support him wholeheartedly. What the heck? When did I want to call? I don't understand. Are they trying to now start, I don't know what we say. Are you trying to start gagging the Bible or what? Any which way, according to the Bible, this is supposed to happen at this point in time. We are getting to that point. No, we are at that point. It's just going to get worse. No. No. Now, all that he said there, even though I have some problems with some of the things that he said, there are a lot of people that everything that they showed, because I don't have the full video, everything that they showed on change.org, and I feel like those people are being dubious and malicious. They just took some certain parts that they did not agree and put it just to trigger people. I would love to find the full video. If you know where the full video is, please leave the link in the comment section so that I can check it, because I feel like change.org did something dubious, and they were just editing these things to pass a message. But a lot of what change.org should, some people actually agree from A to Z of it. And it is their choice. It is their belief. It's based on what they believe. This thing is more of a Christian Catholic thing, and it's their choice. Now, if you play that video in some African countries, including Nigeria, nobody's going to say anything. They're going to be like, what's wrong with what he said? Based on our culture, based on our religious belief, a lot of people will agree with it. Like I said, everybody is entitled to their belief. I don't like when people begin to try to subdue people because they are not agreeing with what they said or what they feel is right. What you feel is right at this point in time, in future you might find out that you are misled. You are saying the wrong thing. So you should agree to disagree. Now, he talked about the fact that people are not talking because there a lot of judgment comes, a lot of backlash comes, and it's true. The whole situation is just evidence that people are starting not to talk. They don't want to give their opinion on anything. They just want to mind their business, because you talk, you get into trouble. You don't talk, apparently you get into trouble, because there's something going on right now that you're saying, yo, you're not talking about it. And I've said it before that not everybody with a platform or that you see every time needs to talk about everything. Sometimes some people just want to talk about things that affect them directly. And the fact that somebody has an opinion about something and you disagree does not mean you should not start going after the person's job, trying to be an oppressor, in my own opinion, trying to be a bully, trying to make them change their mind to say what you want them to say. How are you sure that what you are saying is right? That's the thing that bothers me. How are you sure what you're saying is right? Or are you just doing the head mentality? Everybody says, oh, this is right, let us follow. Like goats. Oh, this is this, let us follow. No critical thinking, nothing. You have no opinion of yourself. They just said, this is right, let's follow. They said, let's boycott this one, let's follow. They said, let's cancel this person, let's follow. No thinking at all. I don't know. I know that he's probably not going to get kicked out of his team. He's probably not going to have any issue because he's entitled to his belief, he's entitled to his opinion. And this is not the first time he has talked like this. So I don't think anything is going to happen. All the people jumping about, signing the petition, you all are jobless in my own opinion, because you have opinion that people are not agreeing with, and nobody has gone to your job to try and get you kicked out. So you are not the be all or know all of everything. I don't get it. There's so many times that I see people saying things that I don't agree with. I just say this person is just this, and this is my own opinion, and that, and I move. I'm very passionate about this cancel culture. I don't get it. You should only cancel people that have done criminal acts. DD number 1. Those are the people you cancel. Not somebody sharing their opinion about something or not sharing their opinion about something. You cannot force people to open their mouth and talk. You are not a bully, or maybe you are, if that is the way you operate. Because only an oppressor or a bully would be forcing people to do the things that they want them to do. Anyway, I don't know what you guys think about this whole issue. Did you think some of what he said was outrageous? Did you think all that he said was outrageous? Do you think that people going for his job and trying to get him kicked out of his team is appropriate, or do you think it's too extreme? Do you participate in cancel culture? Do you support cancel culture? Are there exceptions to where you support cancel culture, or you just don't support it at all? Or do you support it for everybody? I would love to hear your own opinion about this discourse. So please leave your comment in the comment section, but please be respectable. Understand that people will have different opinion about things. Don't be malicious in the comment section. Don't be abusive, because if you're abusive, YouTube will restrict your comment and I might not see it and nobody might see it. And if I eventually see an abusive comment, I will remove it. So please be respectable when leaving your comment in the comment section. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not yet subscribed and you like videos such as this, please consider subscribing by clicking on the red button that says subscribe. And don't forget to click on the bell notification icon by the side so that you're notified anytime I upload videos. Now, with all I said, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.